To see how Helsinki went from the least known Nordic capital to a serious travel destination, stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Jonas with another Behind the Brand. This time we have a social media coordinator from Visit Helsinki, Elizabeth Heinrich. Welcome.
Thank you.
You want to start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and Visit Helsinki and the kind of work you do?
Yeah, sure. So basically I've been working already for Visit Helsinki for 7 years. So even though I kind of fool you by looking kind of young, that's just because I'm short. So I've already been working for 7 years, started at the tourist information, so that's one of the major parts of our actually activity. And what people usually know about Visit Helsinki are the Helsinki helpers with the green vests going around the city. So of course we have 4 different departments, the welcome team where the tourist information is a part of it. I work myself in the inspiration team, so we all have...
Inspiration team,
yeah, so
awesome.
My biggest goal is of course to inspire travelers to visit Helsinki. And then we have the Together team as well, where we have the marketing managers for the different marketing countries that we market Helsinki to. And of course we also have the Congress side, so we do also bring big congresses to Helsinki, and everybody needs to have a back office team as well, so that's what we call home base. So those are the departments that we have. But basically what I do is most of my time goes to social media. So I'm really lucky in the sense that when we had 2 organizational changes after each other, which was quite heavy, I was interviewed and I could tell what I wanted to work with. And I had already been working with our social media at that point as a marketing assistant. But then actually this position was created and developed with me. So I couldn't be happier. And now this is... It's been 1.5 years now, so I'm really happy at the position. And it's, of course, when you start something from the beginning, there's nothing to start from. So
exactly.
it's been quite challenging, but I like a challenge. But yeah, so I both take care of our 5 major social networks. So everything from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, Pinterest, and also our Visit Helsinki blog.
Right on.
But and in the blog I write about food-related kind of posts, and then of course I also take care of the media trips that we do with bloggers. So about 30%, if we want to talk about numbers, about 30% of my work is working with bloggers, international and domestic bloggers that we invite to Helsinki.
There's one word that caught my eye, that's the inspiration team. Inspiration, inspirational, and a lot of the, especially like kind of Instagram, if you talk about a lot of like the inspirational pics and quotes and all that stuff. What I wanted to know that, you know, within the few years that Helsinki, like what the work you guys have done, Helsinki has gone from the least known capital in the Nordics to quite serious tourist location or destination, I would say. I would like to hear, like, what was that mission of you guys? Like, what did you guys start off, and how did you go from the starting point to this point that where you guys can enjoy and you have this vast stream of materials and all that? Like, that would be great to hear from you guys.
Well, we started off, we have a quite long history in the sense that we started off in '63. So that was then the Tourist and Convention Bureau of the city of Helsinki. But as I mentioned, we had these 2 organizational changes recently. And after that, we became a kind of joint stock company. So we're not directly under the city of Helsinki anymore, but we are a private company. But right now, we are still 100% owned by the city.
Does that give you a little bit leeway in what you can do and try?
Yeah, it does. And of course, we have our strategy for every year. We have it accepted by the city of Helsinki. But it does give us a leash in the sense that we are more able to, within that strategy, we are...
Excuse me.
Kiitos. Mä en edes huomannut, että se kaatui. Eli otetaanko se kysymys uudestaan?
People are so nice here. A little something goes on, they come in like, hey, even in the middle of interview. So that tells about the character of people.
The polite Finnish men, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so I was saying that after the 2 organizations, it gives us a leash because within the strategy, if we keep inside the lines of the strategy, it's more flexible, so we can work and come up with even bold ideas. And usually when we go back, of course, we are constantly in contact with the city, and when we tell them about the ideas, usually they're very, very happy, and actually kind of in that sense encourage us to do things like that as well. But it has also meant that Visit Helsinki is our marketing name. So basically we have two marketing brands. One is Visit Helsinki, and then there is the Convention Bureau as still, because the event and the Convention Bureau is very well-known brand in the world. So every city usually has its own Convention Bureau. But besides that, our main name is actually Helsinki Marketing Limited. So that already tells you that it's not only about travel and tourism. It has to do with a much broader perspective. So we also market different events that we do in Helsinki, like the Helsinki Day, the New Year's Eve event at the Senate Square. These kind of events that are mainly targeted to local people, actually. So a lot of people think that we only deal with travelers, but we do a lot for also the local people in Helsinki.
There's I heard this interesting. This was completely new for me, but I like this, scarcity, the intriguing, the curiosity that drives a lot of people when we talk about marketing. And you guys kind of, I can't say monetize, but capitalize on the idea that this is kind of hidden gem, like Helsinki is the. Can you tell me about the Helsinki Secret campaign that you recently launched? That sounds,
well, going back to your previous question, I kind of stumbled and didn't actually answer you at all. but what we have done for, like I was telling about the history, 50 years and so on. But what has happened with the organizational change is that I feel that our office is much more kind of bolder now. It has to do with the flexibility. It has to do with kind of encouraging even the workers at our workplace to have this courage and try new ideas. So we have a culture now where it's we're actually encouraged to have crazy ideas and then work with them. We can try something, and then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We try something else. But I think it's really important that the organization has that kind of culture, because if you're not in an environment where you feel like you can have bold ideas, you're never going to have them, because it kind of kills the creativity.
Yeah, that's an interesting. It's kind of off topic, but when you talk about leadership, and a lot of now we have an era where we have the older generation meeting the younger generation within one organization, and there's a lot of the younger folk. They have been living very kind of freely. They've been always been able to try. They have been always in social media, so they don't have the same boundaries. And when the leadership positions are filled with this older generation, it very often is like discouraged. Like you follow the rules and we tell you what to do, and it's been interesting to see how these companies, and I'm glad to hear that you guys have encouraged everyone to innovate and to take risks and try new things, and it's just kind of, I believe that radiates from everything that you do, even it being meeting a person, a tourist or a local, or being online and communicating, writing your copy or whatever. That shows that enthusiasm and the energy. And that's a great thing that, it would be great to hear that. How have you managed that from a leadership point of view?
Well, it has had to do with giving space for ideas, and like you say, like we are in a sense I would say like a special organization that everybody is an expert on something. So usually if you have somebody, for instance, I feel that I have quite a lot of space to have different ideas, and I can bounce them with my supervisor and so on. So we usually, when we have new ideas, we have a Facebook page where everybody that works at our office can kind of comment on ideas, and then the person who is actually working within that and sees like, I can take this idea and put it into practice in my own work. So it's not like forcing people with new ideas, but it's kind of bouncing these ideas between each other, and then like just trying to because it's the important thing is communication. So when you talk with different people in your office, I mean, we are 40 people in our office, So there are 40 people that have different ideas, and when you try these ideas, so kind of kicking down the walls and talking to each other is really a big thing. If social media is the tool in which you do it, because we have an open office, but still it seems like we have open office spaces, but they do still have walls in between, like there are several rooms, and even though I'm sitting in a room with 11 people, actually I noticed that some of them are commenting more on the Facebook page than talking to me directly. So there has to be both, because sometimes when with an idea you have to really think about it, you have to maybe sleep over it or something like that, and then you come back and comment it. So it's not always like the immediate ideas, the comments that are the best ones, but maybe the ones that you have like later on.
There's iteration processes that, you know, that might spark something else in me and my work and my environment. I bounce it back, and then that sparks something else in somewhere else, and it's just a process of, but it's in place. I would like to also hear about, like, how do you encourage the tourists and the locals to share, and how much you rely on that relationship in your communication?
Yeah, well, basically, I think the part of our organization that does it the most is actually social media. So I'm always like, my background is from the tourist information, where I was actually in customer service, and the thing that I loved the most about being in customer service was the people. So I really loved to talk to the travelers, and those are the best customers that I've ever had, because you know how you are when you're a traveler. You're really like, your eyes are open, you are really happy to listen to what local people have to say, and so on.
Absolutely.
But you're also kind of challenging in a good way, because let's face it, the people coming to Helsinki are not first-time travelers, so they do have they have seen already some of the major capitals in Europe, and it's not like when you look at the map of the world, you pick Finland as the first one, and that's something that we at Visit Helsinki know, and also Visit Finland. So we don't have these illusions that Finland and Helsinki is the first place you visit, but Helsinki is still kept like this curiosity. And getting back to what you were mentioning with being the least well-known capital in the Nordic region, is probably because as a nation we haven't put that much effort into marketing Finland as a travel destination. Of course, Visit Finland does a great job in it, but they mostly focus on image marketing in specific countries, and in those countries, of course, they know already Finland quite well.
It's funny that you mentioned, you know, compared to the like Finland versus Sweden, like who markets best, like
it's
Sweden,
always
you know, and it's
always
kind of like the criticism of this Finnish
it's kind
humility.
Of like, it's always a joke, but I've also kind of battled with it in a different way. So this August I'm going to plan I have already been for half a year planning actually a Nordic vlog trip. So we're going to invite 2 American vloggers coming from LA, and they're going to go to Copenhagen, Stockholm, and Helsinki. So this is the first kind of trip where we have targeted Americans, because it's long haul destination where the Nordic region is still seen as one whole, and not just like all the smaller countries, if you think about inhabitants, but the reality is that usually if you come from either Asia or you come from the States, Canada, you usually want to see more than just one Nordic capital. That is the idea, but it's still like, for a long time within the Nordics we've been thinking about each other as competitors, when we are actually not really competitors, but we are actually like brothers and sisters in a sense.
Sibling,
But we have a lot in common, but then I think the best thing is actually to combine other Nordic capitals to Helsinki, because then you notice that, Helsinki has actually more in common with Copenhagen than Stockholm, which is sometimes a surprising feature for many. But the atmosphere and the feeling, the mood of the city is, I would say, more similar in Copenhagen, even though Stockholm is closer. So these are like funny things, like small details. We had actually a blogger last year coming to Helsinki during December, and she said that Helsinki is a city where you need to look at the details. So I think you have to stay here for a longer time. It's not a city that I would recommend you come for just 2 days or so on. It's not that kind of a European capital where you just have 48 hours and you've seen everything, but it has a lot to do with the people and getting to know people, it takes longer than 48 hours, and getting into the culture. So
it's really kind of soaking everything in and being in, because I think part of the beauty is really the communities.
Yeah.
Like there's such a strong communities. Like now, during the past few years, food community has reason. We have the ravintola, the restaurant days, and we got the street. We got this sort of, I don't even remember, but these trucks going around. Like
street
it's just
food
like
carnival.
Yeah. So it's just. I want to go back to a little bit about the media change. You've been mentioning the social media, blogging, and now vloggers.
Yeah.
And I would like to kind of hear, like, in your eyes, how has the media field changed for you?
Yeah.
Like how strong of an impact, for example, video entering the market has been for you?
Yeah. Well, getting back to the media trips that we have been organizing, we've been doing them for about, like, if you think about traditional media, we've been doing those for about 10 years. But then when it comes to social media trips, we've been doing those since 2011, and there the initiative came actually from Visit Finland. So Visit Finland, because we work very close by with Visit Finland, they actually were the bold ones. I'm going to give the honor to them, because that's right on. So they were the bold ones that actually said that, hey, we have to embrace this new kind of media. And since 2011, yeah, me too, we've been doing them, and actually it's like learning by doing, because you learn a lot from bloggers and working with social influencers. So I want to believe that I'm a good listener. So that's the best feature when you are a social media coordinator, is actually listening, and not that much what, of course you have to respond, and that's a part of the conversation that you're having. But listening on social media is much different to, for instance, listening in a conversation like this when you're talking, because you have to find the hidden signals and kind of those kind of things, like what are the hashtags that people are using. So you have to all the time kind of follow different things. I remember talking about hashtags about like 2 years ago at my office, and a lot of people were asking me, my colleagues, like, what is a hashtag? Like, why are you talking all the time about hashtags? So sometimes, of course, being a social media coordinator is also being quite alone in a sense, because you might be talking about things that not everybody knows about, but that's why it's also important that you actually talk about it, because if you weren't talking about it, nobody's talking about it, and so on. So you're all the time trying to find what's the new big thing, and so on. But yeah, going back to the fact that we've been working with bloggers, and then I would say about 1 year and a half, we've been working with vloggers. So the video impact is, I think, in every kind of digital marketing, it's visible everywhere. But it actually, again, it came from actually working with the social influencers. So when we got contacts from actually, we were contacted by vloggers that wanted to come to Helsinki, that's when we realized, oh, there is this demand. So we are all the time, we're not kind of always trying to lead everything, but we're also trying to listen and be just the kind of organization that helps people do what they want to do. So the enabler, in a sense, we're just enabling things to happen. Because and being kind of a curator. So I think it's a really old way of thinking that we should create marketing content and then other people should like spread it. But we are actually listening to what people are talking about, and then we're just formatting it into videos, for instance. But we use a lot of cooperation with vloggers to make videos, actually. And one example,
kind of crowdsourced the whole thing is like.
And for instance, like Instagram is a great example, because I mean, since we started with Instagram about 2 years ago, from the beginning we had like, if you want to be featured on our Instagram account, please use the hashtag Visit Helsinki, and that kind of gives us, allows us to repost the pictures. And it's incredible how many beautiful pictures there are about Helsinki every day. And people really want, like, the communication and the conversation on Instagram is actually talking through pictures. So it was really quickly actually that I found a really great Instagrammer that took beautiful pictures of Helsinki, and he actually ended up as a guest blogger on our Visit Helsinki blog. Then we made an Instagram video with only using his picture pictures from Instagram from Helsinki, and that was a great project that we did now in May. And that is something that, of course, as a social media coordinator, I do some traveling, go to different kind of social media events also on an international scale, and I think one of the most important events of the year is the social media symposium, which was held last year in Rovaniemi, because we are kind of quirky Finns that are really good at social media, I would say, very active. So Rovaniemi, through social media, was able to win the event and host it there last year, but this year it was held in Amsterdam. But there we had people from all over the States, Canada, and all over Europe. So Asia and Africa was the only continents that were missing, basically, during the event. But basically, why I love the event so much is that it's travel trade. So basically, people that are working in the travel industry, but also with social media. So this is like heaven for me. So people that understand what I'm talking about and deal with the same things every day, and then talking about traveling. So that's why, for instance, we were talking a lot about these Instagram videos there, for instance, and when I came back I had like a suitcase of ideas, and I just told about them at the office, and this, for instance, the Instagram video was one idea that my supervisor, because you have to remember that travel industry is all about people, so you have to have people that also believe in your crazy ideas. So it's not enough that you have the ideas, but you also need people that believe in you. So going ahead and getting your ideas through has to do with convincing people, and you have to be good in kind of telling about what are your targets, what are your goals, and actually then following it through and showing that if we do this, this is going to happen, and so on.
I think the social media more than ever is about the people, like online and offline, and I think I have this great quote: people over pixels. Like everything has to serve in some sort of purpose in serving the customer, and it's a huge trend. But let's go into the question you guys have been waiting for. As a local Helsinki expert, if I would want to experience the city as a local, what places would you recommend me going to?
Well, this is by far the number one question in our tourist information, let's say, and it's also the number one question on our social media networks, because this is exactly what everybody wants to know. The interesting fact about Helsinki is that it's not one of those European capitals that can't grow anymore. So Helsinki is very interesting because it's actually still developing, and developing from the city center even, because you know the Töölönlahti area, the Bay area in the middle of the city. We have huge construction work there. At the harbor areas, huge construction over there. So I'm always saying that Helsinki is going to be a really exciting place in 30 years. So I was actually born too early. But so if you have to make a comparison, a lot of the capitals in Europe are cities of the past. They've had their glory days, and now they're living kind of on their reputation. But Helsinki is actually a city of the future. So that's what we say, like, if you want to come and see the future, please visit Helsinki, and you might get some good ideas.
That's very interesting. I never thought about Helsinki that way. You know, because ultimately when I travel, I look at exactly these capitals and a destination that have a lot of history, and it's great to go and experience it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Helsinki is going through this kind of, I don't know, really period of innovation, and there's a lot of new stuff coming all the time, and carless city is thrown out, and it's been globally noted, and that's a very interesting point of view.
So that is something I would say, I don't think it's enough to visit Helsinki only once, because of this developing phase. So I think a city is, if you want to see like a city being made, this is really interesting. So already during the 7 years that I've been working in the travel industry, Helsinki has changed a lot. And of course, talking about the food is very close to my heart, because I've lived a couple of years in Italy, and that's where I really learned how to appreciate food. And when I came back to Helsinki, I was amazed by the fact that we have such great food ingredients, but we didn't really know how to appreciate them. So I took kind of the boldness, the Italian boldness, being proud, because Italians are very, very proud. And I think we Helsinkians, it's a term I made up, but I think Helsinkians should be very proud because we have a great city and we have great food. So what I started to kind of strive for was to create a food brochure for Helsinki when I returned. And it took me 3 years because, again, going back to 2011 when I started with this, we just had restaurant day and so on started. So there was not that much belief in the food culture. People were thinking it was quite a crazy idea to talk about food and then combine it to Helsinki, because we have like huge food destinations like France and Italy, for instance, Spain as well. So the Nordic kitchen was not that well known of at that point. But of course 2011 is also the year of Noma in Denmark, in Copenhagen. So starting with kind of these star chefs and also the restaurant day in Helsinki, which is crazy that it was created in Helsinki, and crazy in a good way, because that's the craziness in Helsinki is always good. So it's the good kind of craziness, quirkiness if you want to call it. So I would definitely say that food is something that you need to experience in Helsinki, and we have a huge variety of food here. So I'm always saying, because people are asking me sometimes for restaurant lists, and I say, but restaurants is only a part of the food culture in Helsinki. So we have great market halls, we have great market squares, we have great street food, we have great cafes as well. There's a huge variety, and we even have wild food here. So restaurants is really like a limited way of thinking about the food culture. And I've had the pleasure to meet actually Eric Wolf, which is the founder of the Food Travel Association from the States. And actually that is how I later on came to create this kind of a food brochure for Helsinki, using the theory of the Food Travel Association, but thinking about food in this wide perspective. So in this brochure you will even find stores that were grocery stores, because we can't forget that travelers always want to buy also food souvenirs, and also bookshops where you can buy recipe books, because the real food travelers want to start cooking Finnish food after they've been here. I mean, if you try the Karelian pasty, you want to try it at home. And we have great examples even during Street Helsinki. We had a great media group here with some Swedes, for instance, and everybody always says that Swedes don't want to learn anything from Finland because of this rivalry and so on. But actually I had a really nice Swedish blogger, and she was she went crazy for this Karelian pasty that has, instead of rice in the middle, it has lingonberries. So it's coming from East Finland, called Rönttönen. And so she actually made these when she got home. She asked for the recipe from me, and she made them when she got back home in Sweden, and she loves them, and her children loves them. So I think food is really something that helps people to understand the culture. So that would definitely be one thing that I would recommend. But we were talking about earlier about the Helsinki Secret campaign, and the whole idea with the Helsinki Secret campaign is, again, listening to what people say. So we are done with the fact that we are just going to say what are the main themes, the strengths of Helsinki, and we actually were bold enough to ask the local people, together with Radio Helsinki, what is the secret of Helsinki. We asked that of the local people, and we got about 500 answers, and I always take a napkin when I start to read them, because they're really I don't know, they're really sensitive and emotional, the answers, and I think the winning event secret was I loved it, because basically he said that the secret is that there is no secret. Helsinki is just here for everybody, for anybody on the street of the city. So that's the beauty of the city, that it's a very kind of down-to-earth kind of city where everybody is friendly to each other and actually care about each other. So that's the secret, if you want to kind of put it in a nutshell. But yeah, after these 500 answers from the local people, we kind of realized that what the local people appreciate the most about Helsinki is the urban nature. So that is something that when locals travel around the world, they always miss. So the fact that we have the sea surrounding Helsinki on 3 sides is something that people really, really like. And of course the fact that you can go just half an hour, 20 minutes from the city center and you have forest. These kind of things.
It's such a multifaceted and as far as the story, we only in the beginning, like you said, and that's something new. I'm a Finn. I've been in Helsinki for a year and a half now, and I have never actually thought about it. That makes perfect sense. And all of you travelers, I think the best part here is that you can actually be part of writing that story. And it's not one-time deal, but it's kind of like that lives on.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've been thinking, that was the first phase that we asked the local people, but now we really want to know what the international idea is. What is the secret about Helsinki? So instead of, because we've been hearing for years actually from international guests and so on, that Helsinki is like a hidden gem, a true secret, but secret is a delicious word because everybody loves secrets. I mean,
exactly.
It's something that you want to share with your friend, but it's not a negative word, and I've never heard anything negative being said about secret, because it's kind of like a delicious piece of information that you have that you only want to share with the best people you know, and that is exactly what we want Helsinki to be, and actually we believe Helsinki is. So now we're going to next year invite social influencers to Helsinki to tell us what the secret of Helsinki is, and again it's going to be something very different. So we have a residence called the Helsinki Secret Residence, starting from the 1st of January next year, running the whole year. We have a residence about 45 square meters in the city center of Helsinki, where social influencers are invited to stay between 3 to 6 nights. So we are actually asking them, and we are actually promoting to stay a lot longer. So 6 nights, I would say, is the minimum to experience the city even a little bit. So yeah, you can decide between 3 and 6 nights, and then you can actually tell us afterwards what you think is Helsinki's secret, and you're going to get tons of tips and trips what to do in Helsinki. You're going to get bikes, and of course we use a lot of public transportation, as you were mentioning. Cars have not that much to do with Helsinki. We're striving to get Helsinki car free, so the local way to go around is by public transportation. So we're going to get tickets for that as well, but otherwise we're not going to have like planned programs for the social influencers from 9 in the morning to the 9 in the evening, but we're going to change the whole idea that we're going to give the freedom to the social influencers to find Helsinki's secrets, and we're just going to be there to help along the way if they need any help. But actually we believe that the best way to experience Helsinki is by actually talking to local people and yeah, exactly, because a lot of people have been talking about slow travel as well, and that is also something that we want to embrace, because a lot of traditional these kind of marketing trips have been very short. So in like 2 days you should experience the whole city, but we've had really a lot of feedback concerning that, because you only get to touch the surface, and you don't even maybe have time to talk to anybody local. So we want to try something completely new, and we're very excited. This is also an idea that has come from listening to what actually social influencers are asking for. So we've had 2 major blog trips to Helsinki, where we've had 40 and 47 bloggers, called the Nordic Bloggers Experience.
Yeah, I've heard of this, yeah.
It's always been in January, and it's going to also be on next January as well. But we have stepped down as a main partner now, because we want to emphasize now on the Helsinki Secret Residence, because last year, well actually this year as well, when it was in January, we got a lot of feedback about the fact that people wanted to spend more time in the city. So even though the Nordic Bloggers Experience is set during the Matka Travel Fair week, they only had about 1.5 days in Helsinki, and that's way too little. So now we want to show that Helsinki is not actually a busy city, in the sense that busyness does not go hand in hand with Helsinki. It's a relaxed city, and if you're in a hurry, then you're not doing it right. So you should try to relax and take it easy, have a nice time, enjoy yourself. That is exactly what Helsinki is all about.
I think those are good closing words, and there have been a lot of information mentioned. I'll put a lot of the links below here in the box, so go and click on it. If you're an influencer, make sure that you're find me when you come here. I want to have a chat with you guys and see how you feel about this. But thank you guys. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
And until the next time. Bye-bye.